Hey everyone, it's Ross. The following is an actual play of Shadowdark RPG. We welcome you to sit in with us and listen to our adventures. As with all of our actual plays, it's not a performance. These are just friends playing tabletop role-playing games and playing them the way we do. Some editing has been done for your enjoyment, including sound effects and music. Details about the artists are included at the end of the podcast. We hope you enjoy. You have become lost. In a moment when a feeling of jealousy intersected with tripping on a limb under moonlight, or as you laughed, a dewdrop fell from a nearby bow into your eyes. A moment or feeling of uncertainty. Whatever it was, you raise your head to find yourself in a vast wilderness. This is not where you were before. You have no way home. It is filled with monsters, ruins, and secrets. In time, you find the last vestige of civilization. Its inhabitants mostly others who've also become lost here in this wild place. Your talents were recognized. Now you are an adventurer of Parenval. It is up to you to defend and help the people of this dream world. To attain treasures, secrets, defeat the horrors that have lain dormant in the shadows until you awoke them with your arrival. These are the stories of that kingdom and its people, of heroes and of villains, and of magic. Welcome to the Vale. You are all adventurers of Parenval, elite agents of the kingdom. The kingdom of Parenval relies on the trade from Lornedain, and so they've hired you to investigate disappearances here. Madness has befallen the small barony of Lornedain. Recently, some young people and others from the village and the surrounding area have begun to disappear in alarming numbers. The locals are at their wits' end trying to find their lost loved ones, and the Lady Baroness Lornedain has responded by offering a reward. As an adventurer of Parenval, although you are an agent of the kingdom, you are also a sort of independent mercenary, and you take on contracts, and you can receive the boon of such jobs yourself. Despite this reward, and though others have tried and passed through the area, none of this has helped, and the mystery remains unresolved. Strangers who normally pull their flatboats into the village for an overnight stay are being accused. Travelers avoid the once popular portage. Locals have turned on one another. The farmers blame the river folk. The river folk blame the farmers. Both of them blame those that live in the village. All of them, to various degrees, they blame the wild beasts and monsters known to roam the countryside. What is clear from the outside is that there is something going on in Lornedain. So, after your things that have brought you all together over the past year, you have taken this seemingly hopeless contract, and you have traveled. I will tell you what you know of the area. It is not much. You have not been here before. Lornedain is located at the northern end of the Erindian forest, and to the south of the plains of Mayfurrow. It's an independent barony, free of the influence of the wood elves and the fairy folk that inhabit the boundary lines among much of the forest to the east. And it sits just at the border, south of maybe 50 miles to the south of two large cities who in recent years seemingly have appeared from nowhere. One called Bard's Gate, the other one called Wayrim. And it's Lornedain is just a small community of farms and fishermen in the countryside, with a small central village along the Glimmerreel Run River. And that is all you know. Now, we'll start back right where we left off last time, where you were just traveling through the forest near the Glimmerrun River, and you were making your way into the open forests and fields of the barony. And you're traveling through a dark forest, and you just defeated an ambush by some giant cart-sized toads. And they were defeated by Jubal. Jubal was able to charm one of these people. I'm going to show you what they look like again. He then speaks to this person. You hear him stand up into the cart next to you, Test. He's also a little dude, and he's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." And then this creature, this humanoid, it's got irregularly long arms. The knuckles almost drag the ground toward its ankles, and it sort of like slumps forward towards you in a slithery kind of way, and it slurps and burps as it croaks this weird alien language back to your companion, and they're talking to each other.
All I could do is just kind of like just nod very nervously and just be like, "Yeah, man. Yeah."
Can I see what's in the cart while they're talking?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you exit? First of all, do you want to keep the fog up?
No, I would probably dissipate it if it seemed like they were calm, like there's a calm situation.
Okay, I will. The fog dissipates magically, and so you come up and you check the cart log, and you can see that there are simple foodstuffs that have been ruined. Large wheels of cheese eaten through with maggots and mold, and exposed here to the elements. It looks like the cart is damaged and unusable. One of its wheels bent on the axle. You can also see the marks look as if they were dragged, along the path and then suddenly veered all at once. There is nothing else of value in the cart.
So perhaps it looks like this cart was dragged here, and it's been here for some time.
My best guess was that, like, some horse or donkey was pulling it, and that was ambushed some time ago. But so far, we haven't seen any signs of remains. But with the very large toads around, that could answer that question.
Jubal, after some croaking back and forth with this creature, he says, I am familiar with these creatures. I have studied their tongue. These are an ancient primordial people from this place. This is, let me see. These are the Satharians. It is said that they were once human, but something changed them. But that was eons ago. And he claims, he thinks that we are his friends currently, and he feels like he is taking a risk in putting his croaker out for us, but that he must leave and go back to his people, but that an ambush was set up along this path to try to prevent anyone from coming into this area if possible.
Jubal, can you ask him why he's trying to prevent people from coming into the area?
Yeah, they croak back and forth for some time, and Jubal kind of like looks a bit kind of pensive and disappointed. He turns back to you and he says, he doesn't know much, but let me find it here. Their chieftain guards an ancient and sacred site to their people, and they have been ordered for the first time in centuries to leave that sacred site from underground. They rarely ever leave underground, and in fact it's very painful for them to travel in the light and to come out this far. But the chieftain will not tell them why they must come out and prevent people from coming into this place.
Jubal, can you ask him if there are any other humans at this temple? Are humans being taken there? Because we're looking for missing humans.
He says that in the ancient times there were once people that came into the temple, but let me just make sure. But he thinks only his people inhabit that place now. He has heard, though, that in recent years there are people from faraway lands that have sometimes come into the temple, but he's never seen them.
You think the missing people might be something to do with human sacrifice to a temple? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
Could ask him if he's stopped anyone else.
He croaks like a into the air, and after that long croak, you almost think something's wrong with him, like he's going to die or something. And then he stops after a while, and he says, Jubal says, that was a war cry, and he's very proud that he's slain 12 other adventurers.
That's a very big number. Certainly can't deny that.
I'll give him a sign of mad respect.
Rex just looks very nervous by all this, but he's keeping his cool.
So this cart came from the opposite direction we came from, right? It's
Yes.
been dragged from. Okay, so do we know what closest cities or village or settlement is that way?
Yeah.
Is it Waveram or Bardskater?
It's the village of the same name, Lornedain, which is the barony itself is your destination to try to figure out where these missing people are.
So we haven't actually we're not in Lornedain yet?
Yeah, you're in the forests north of the barony that lie along the river. And you're trying to get along a forest path. You're trying to get through the forest into the open barony, the fields and the farms and stuff.
Maybe we could ask him if they know why this is such a great ambush place. Like, why is there traffic coming through here?
That's a good. He says that because he rah, 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 which you take to be a laugh, and then Jubal says he says that the river has enough problems that they haven't had to worry about traffic through the river. They have only had to guard the pass through the woods, and you know that you yourself, like presumably, your ranger picked this as the very best tactical approach and best path to get into the barony. So,
admittedly, I didn't roll too high on that. It probably wasn't the best way in, considering we got an ambush, but still, there's not a lot of better routes in there. And it sounds like they're going to have all of them blocked off. So it definitely sounds like it's the barony itself that they were trying to isolate.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than getting caught up in some other unrelated thing. So it sounds like the barony's got a bigger problem than the one we came here to solve.
Yeah, unless we have other information to glean from this guy, I vote we get out of this situation before others of his kind come.
You hear some more croaking back and forth between Jubal and this strange mutated toad man, and then this creature eventually turns to leave, and Jubal says, he says that he has to return to his people deeper into the forest, and he will because we are his friends, he will not tell them of us. But
Okay.
he
Before
warns.
he goes, since we're such good friends, can he give us something that these frog people hate? Like, what's something these frog people hate so we don't ever offend you?
You're asking for something that the frog people hate?
Yes, like a way to deter them, and or I'm basically like asking, hey, can you tell us what your weakness is?
Right.
I don't know if that's
we
gonna
don't
work,
want
but
to.
maybe
We don't want to
But
offend you.
Jubal
I
could
would-
just be like, humans,
would-
right? What's their
I would-
deal?
I would phrase it in a way of like, what's a way that we could make sure we never offend your people in the future? But in
Right.
the same way. But I would, metagaming here. I'm trying to ask if he could tell us his weakness, since we're such good friends.
He's sort of like covered by the canopy of the forest, but he used the army of giant toads to try to attack you, his creatures, and he says that they can hardly stand the sunlight, and especially the magics of the priest types that they've seen.
I nod.
That's useful info.
Yeah, relate to that. My people had that issue back where I'm from, but this sun doesn't work the same way.
Well,
Makes
should
no
we
more-
bid him farewell and move on?
Yes.
If it wasn't so dishonorable, I'd suggest we just stab him in the back. Because I mean, he's gonna start killing more people.
I think
You-
Log. I think
Good
Log.
point.
Log turns a cold shoulder to such a suggestion, but feel free to do what you want.
Yeah, your input is very important. I'm just saying he's gonna be killing more people. That's just a thing that's gonna happen.
Hmm. I mean, we're getting into maybe preemptive strike territory. Do we want to be those kind of people? I ask.
It's a little complicated because they started by ambushing us, but once someone's
you've
charmed,
got a
that changes the situation.
Yeah,
Log
Rex,
scratches.
you're starting to make sense.
Log scratches his head and says, "I'm not a tactician."
Friends, if I may, just want to remind you all that we've managed to not draw the ire of his friends and or his beasties. Maybe we should just keep moving before we...
Yeah,
Do-
larger issue is that I'm not sure if we could actually beat all those toads.
How many
That was,
toads are there?
I saw 3, I think, not counting him. Like the big boys.
Jubal, asks this question, and he lets out another war cry, which makes a lot of noise.
Wow.
Let me roll.
I was kind of holding out my hands, palms down, like, not too crazy, but okay. Trying to be all friendly though.
But then he croaks some things, and Jubal turns back, and he's like, he's proud of that too. He says that in the mires and ponds nearby, they train and bring out the creatures of the pond and bogs to command as their armies.
So no swimming.
I've got I've got a half solution here, because I hear what Rex is getting at, and he's, there could be, by walking away from these people, we're actually allowing innocent lives to be taken. I believe that's your point, right, Rex?
Yeah.
What if is there a way, something in the cart, that we could make a sign and hang it on the cart that says this is an ambush?
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, we could pop off some boards. We could use some of these poles and use that as a vertical pole and stick the boards on it, and then put them at either end of this put them at either end of this little valley area, so people coming from either direction might be forewarned.
Yeah, ambush ahead or something like that.
Yeah, and we can
Carve something in there with a knife.
We can use soot from our torches too.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna make some assumptions here out loud. You tell me if they're wrong. Okay. I assume that Rex would probably be the one that goes up to the point where any other guide or ranger or elite adventurer of Paranval would obviously know this thing, like the place where, all right, they would see this. And I assume the ranger would probably do that. I assume that you would wait until this dude left, and then you would,
we wait until he leaves.
And
we're just kind of making small talk in a language he doesn't know. No big deal.
This
right, and he probably can't read either.
Setting up a warning signal, a warning sign that could last, you can do. It will take 2 hours because you'll need to, at the very least, the ranger will need to backtrack and then set that sign up. But you're confident that you could warn other adventurers of Paranval if they should enter this area.
What do you think, guys?
I say let's do it. Let's risk it.
We can do that, and I'd also like to send my bird familiar up to watch for more toads and more of these creatures. In the meantime, that way I can warn if we need to leave the warning operation.
I feel that honor sort of demands that once we've charmed this guy, we have to like kind of let him go. It just doesn't. I feel like in this, I feel like we might have a more like well-developed sense of how things ought to go in a setting like this, but I don't know what they are. But my gut says that like once someone's charmed into peace, then you have to part ways amicably. So I don't feel that attacking them is an honorable move.
The creed of the Allfather. I don't have it on me. I can post it. But it exhorts righteous struggle and combat, and that it would be honorable.
So we could resume the fight, but we would have to basically throw down and like give them fair warning. I feel. If we're trying to be, the good guys.
Maybe a bit of just war theory, like if it justifies it, and then even then on that basis you must do it fairly.
Yeah, I just want to send my bird up to survey the area while we're setting the sign up.
Blossom, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we all agree we're going to take the 2 hours. We're going to make a sign, post it, and then beat feet out of there.
Unless you want to challenge him to honorable combat right here and now. Those are our two options.
The only other data
well, let's
point...
do let's put up the signpost. Sorry, what were you saying, Jim?
I just wanted to offer just a final data point that it's currently about 4 p.m. and that would lead you to about 6 p.m. in the fall. So you would be a couple of hours shy of evening. But which is not me trying to telegraph anything. I just want to make sure you have that information for any decisions that you make, including for further ones. I should have given you the time already, actually. 4 p.m. local.
I kind of like the idea of us having, burned these 2 hours puts us in a precarious place of maybe being caught in the dark in the wilderness, only because we're trying to do the right thing by warning other adventurers. And, we can take that hit, I think, as a party. I don't want to speak for everyone, but that's my feeling on it.
I agree.
I would agree.
All right.
That's kind of my leaning, though. Part of me wonders if we're letting go of the honorable combat scenario too quickly.
All right, so...
it sounds like people aren't leaning that way, so okay, I'll go with the 2 hours. So we.
I totally understand where you're coming from, Rex. I'm in theory, I agree with you.
I don't feel confident we'd win.
I'm a little concerned about that too.
2 hours pass, and you come back to the same place. I'll note kind of the distance and scale of this map. It's not actually very far. This is like a subhex. So this entire distance from east to west to the end of this forest trail is about a mile. You can see here to your left, which is to the north, you can see dense forest. And from where you are, dense forest to the south, which is where they retreated to. And from where you came, you were following the path of this river to get into the barony. You had not taken a watercraft, so you were on foot. So from here, really the only options reasonably at this point would be to either go into the forest to get into the barony or continue on along this forest path.
Given that time is of the essence, my leaning is towards staying on the path.
I would like to stay on the path, and I'd also like to keep my bird, in gaming terms, like double near ahead of us at least.
Okay.
Like 2 turns ahead of us at least, and that way I have some warning there.
Yeah.
You're flying scout operations for forward observer.
Yes, and that's also my background too as a scout, as I'm trained in speed and stealth.
So what I'm going to do with that is it seems like we have a lot of power in that respect, because you also have a ranger. So the ranger is going to make a wisdom check at advantage for any potential encounters. Not right now, but if this happens. And then you also will make a wisdom check at advantage. So you'll both do that to try to meet this. So pretty powerful. Okay. So sounds like we're staying along the path. It doesn't, take you long, because the path is here. A mile maybe takes you 20 minutes of not fast walking. And then you crest the forest line, and you can see the barony ahead of you, the fields and farms. I'll describe some of the things that you can see here from where you are. And at this point, it is now 6:30 p.m. local time. And it is the fall, so the sun is beginning to set.
And did you say we could see the? I'm sorry. What? Say again. What we can see at this point as the sun is setting?
Yeah, sorry, I hadn't described it yet. I will describe what you can see from here. There's a couple of. First of all, you can see the fields and farms of the barony stretching out ahead of you in the setting sun. You also see is actually the keep of the barony. Now, I'll get back to that in a second. But the other thing of note that you see within maybe a few minutes away of walking along the tree line is you can see the signs along the woods of chopped trees. You can see where it looks like woodsmen have made progress into the forest, where they've taken out trees, and you can see the remains drifting off into the orange sky of a fall sunset of campsites. So it looks like woodsmen come out here into the edge of the forest and harvest wood. Additionally, I think I'll go ahead and move you all this far so you can see some more. The ranger and the scout can go ahead and make that wisdom check at advantage to get a 12. A 20. Okay, and then for Log and Blossom, that's not with your bonus, is it? So I think you also get a 12, right?
Actually, sadly, I have 11. I don't have a bonus for my wisdom.
Gotcha. All right, well, in that case, Rex, you will notice this. Just a moment. Rex, you notice two things as you're walking here and the sun is setting. By the way, the sun only rises and sets to the northwest. It rises in the northwest, and it goes straight down in the northwest. And that's the only place. And there is no moon. However, there are often strange lights in the sky and a lot of celestial illumination from the stars. There is no moon in Perrinval. Okay. Anyways, Rex, you smell what smells like, it smells like someone took alcohol and burned it. You can smell almost like a still, like it was like somebody was trying to distill alcohol. And you can see, this is where you're a ranger, and you have an exceptional skill here. Dried blood, lightly spattered along the grass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rex does a small double take at that, not expecting something so overt, and he just says, "Look, it's dried blood. Where'd it come from?" Just bobbing my head around, looking all over. Something dragged through here.
How old does it does this look? How, I know it's dried, but what would your assessment be?
Rex, you would estimate that this is only a day old or so.
Less than 2 days.
Does somebody in a party with more medical knowledge identify if this came from a human or a creature or like a livestock or something?
Yeah, aren't you a chirurgeon, a medic?
I
Durek?
switched to scout.
Durek is, I think, a medic, right?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could identify blood based on that, but I could certainly, I'd give it a shot.
You would have knowledge that a medic would know, a battlefield medic. If you want to roll at advantage a wisdom check to get a 12.
All right.
And meanwhile, something else happens. And while you're doing that, Log and Rex can roll another wisdom check at advantage to get a 12. Oh, a 20. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like you both passed. Oh, wait. Oh, Rex
I
didn't.
got a 15. 16.
I only got a 10.
Okay. Let's see here. You hear, actually, probably Blossom comes back. How does it work? Does Blossom talk to you? How does Blossom warn you of things?
I think Blossom literally just tweets and I can somehow understand it.
I love it. That happens. Okay, so, yeah, Blossom comes back and is like, tweet, 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 and everybody else is like, oh, this is so cute. Meanwhile, Blossom is like, 20 bloodthirsty orcs. They're going to kill us all. To the east, they're only about a mile away. There's one of them. They're chanting and they're chanting like a war cries, like they're giving a speech to 20 of them. It looks like they're trying to build something. And Blossom came from this way, from the edge of the barony of Lornedain.
Trying to build something, like a war machine.
A bird might or might not know this.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
we have the knowledge, and we have the element of surprise because my bird noticed this, not us. So maybe we have an edge here. We can take advantage of this and ambush them.
We could also hightail it to that area inside the moat, because we're only a quarter mile from there.
Word. Get to the keep and warn them that the orcs are there and they're building a siege tower.
I'd like to give us cover then on our way. We'll travel through fog, and that way the orcs don't know we're here, even if they do notice the fog.
Okay, yeah, you create an area of fog all around you once again. This will make it hard to see.
But we could see the area. Can I actually
Question.
ask the group before I do that too? Because I haven't rolled the spell check.
Oh, yeah,
so-
my bad. I forgot. You have to roll to see if it happens.
Can I ask a question about that fog?
Yeah.
To you know, you know, can you? Does the fog have to be around us, or can you throw it like between us and them, so they see the fog and not us, and we don't get bogged down in the fog?
Good question. I can. So the fog, the way the fog rolls is it says a thick fog blooms in a close area around you, making you hard to see. The cloud moves with you. So
Mm.
I could make a distraction if that was our goal, or like split the party, like have some of the party be in the fog and some of the party be out of the fog. Or...
It still sounds like it accomplishes the same thing, though, if you wanted to. So you could do either. You could do just have it follow us as a cloud, or you could have it, all right, it's right there next to me, and we're slowly moving away, and I'm trying to obscure us.
How much fog is created by this? Like, do we look more obvious just being a random cloud of fog? Or,
It'll work.
Like,
It'll work if it passes.
oh,
I say, like, I'll leave it up to the guys. If it makes it hard for us to actually navigate our path to the place we're trying to get to, then I don't have to cast it either.
Yeah,
It was
I
an
got
idea
from
I
what you
had.
read that you could put it next to you, like what Edward's saying. Not that
Right.
it stays there, though, but you're just going to have to back
Yeah,
away
it
as
still
you
it would
go or
still move
something.
with us.
Right.
My impulse would be to save your magic for now, and we just kind of hoof it because we're most of the way there already. Yeah, like if we both start running at the same time, we'll get there first. We might even have time, though that might be getting a little tricksy. That I see some kind of structure to our west-southwest, and maybe we want to warn those guys.
Are you talking about right here? Oh, whoops, sorry. Right here?
Yes.
This is actually fairly close by. This was the area I was mentioning that is like the signs of woodsmen that come in and chop down trees and stuff.
Hmm.
Right,
Well,
and
we
the
probably
smell-
want to
the
warn them
smell of a
to.
fire. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to warn them right away.
There are no
Well,
woodsmen there
some-
now. It's just trees
okay.
that have been chopped down and stuff like that.
I wonder if that's where the blood is then.
Yeah, I imagine that the orcs killed them and stole their lumber and are making their fortifications.
Yeah, that's pretty. That sounds right.
Could be.
Well, if no one's opposed, log. I like the idea of you casting the because unlike, well, I mean, it's not going to cost you a spell unless you fail it, right?
Is that how it works?
Right.
Yeah, because there's not spell slots. So
Well,
You-
I guess it couldn't hurt.
Unless you do
I
a
like the
misfire,
idea.
and then it could actually hurt. But we'll see.
Right, if you
There's a
cast it wrong,
5%
or
chance.
if it looks artificial enough that they're just like, oh yeah, there's definitely a wizard there.
So, all right. So, Log, do you want to
Yeah.
cast it like across from you as you go, or like between you and them?
Yeah, I want to set it as like a barrier between us and them.
Okay.
Casting that direction, if possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It
you
looks
can
like
do
things
that.
are kind of misty enough that it will kind of blend in and look like a natural phenomenon. Because if it looks fake enough, the orcs are gonna be tipped off, and it's just gonna be like a big flag.
Right.
But if our instincts don't say that it will look false, then I say go for it.
So we're in concurrence to cast it.
Man,
I
make this
agree.
work.
I mean, Chris, what do you think?
log the fog machine. Let's go.
Log the fog.
I think that's defensible.
I'm gonna reload this. All right, but you do that, and that
Okay.
works. You create this. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting. My bad. Yeah, you get a roll. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, I have to gain 11 here, and I have a +2, so 9 or higher should pass.
Nice.
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 All right. Can I get it to work? I got it to work finally. You cast a line of smoke, and it follows you as you go. How long does it last?
Let me double check. It is a duration of focus.
Oh, okay. So you can just keep it there with you.
Yes.
All right. So I have that you are continuing on. As you get about this far, it is now 6:30 p.m. local time, okay? And there is much more that you can see even in the setting sun. I'll describe some of the things you can see, okay?
Okay.
You can basically see the whole area. This whole area, just to emphasize the distance, is like a subhex. So this whole thing is about 2 miles across. Let me pin. So yeah, you can see it's like 2 miles, like the whole thing, right? So this is not very far. You can see everything here. So I'm going to describe what you can see. You can see a village right here. This is obviously the walled village of Lornedain, the river trading city. This is the keep of the barony, obviously. And you also see you can kind of see it's obscured by the forest. No, actually, so you wouldn't see that. You see a bunch of farmsteads that would support the village of the barony, right? And you see a tower, a stone tower.
Does it seem like a particularly wizardly sort of tower?
You know, I'm thinking probably towers of that type are used as watchtowers.
Okay.
If it's made of stone, it indicates that it was from a time when things were going well. They were able to afford a long-lasting stone tower. From where you are and in the setting sun, you can't tell if it's occupied, new, manned, unmanned, ruined, etc. yet. You'd have to get closer or it'd have to be daytime.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but in the same sense, so the image that we have here of this barony, there seems to be lots of fields and things. Do I happen to notice any field or orchard or garden or anything where it looks like there is a surplus of food, which could be resourced later?
Yeah, all of the farms you think probably are verdant enough to do that. I'm also made a mistake, so I'm going to retroactively fix that. There is another thing that it's possible that your scout and ranger could have noticed. You can each do a wisdom check at advantage to get a 12 again.
There we go.
This is something that you would have noticed along the way, or not.
I passed.
17.
I'm going to pull you all back. Now, we're not going to go back unless you want to, but along the way you notice footpaths leading into the forest to the north. Many of them. You can also see every once in a while a copse of trees that have been chopped down to the stumps. It looks like the path goes here to the north.
Do these look like orc tracks, or do they look like...
Oh.
Perhaps toad tracks.
Yeah, now I think that would be another check, and that sounds like a ranger could know that. If anybody else has a background or something that would apply, let me know.
Would that be wisdom or intelligence?
I'll let you pick, but it would also be an advantage because of your background.
Okay. I'm going to try intelligence.
Nice, a 20.
Natural 20.
You know exactly what this is, and perhaps the reason this kind of like retroactive flashback is happening is because with exactly, yeah, with the information you now have, you know some things based on what you've seen. This blood is clearly the blood of woodsmen, of people, and they were dragged somewhere. They were
As I first suspected.
They were not dragged toward that camp. And secondly, the trails of these human woodsmen go all the way north to that area of woods that you saw. So it looks like the woodsmen go all the way up there, and some of those tracks are fresh.
So it seems to us that woodsmen dragged one of their own that direction, not that they were captured.
No one was dragged up there.
Oh.
The blood trails in a different direction.
So it looks as if the tracks go into the woods like they went voluntarily into the woods?
The tracks, they go to the north, and yes,
Right.
it's just boot
Yeah.
tracks. The
Boot
blood
tracks.
trail, it goes into the woods to the west.
Those woods. So it seems reasonable to suggest that the woodsmen do the woods, and they have some kind of sanctuary that we don't know about yet. But I'd say that we shouldn't go investigating that yet because we got to get to the Baron's Keep.
Yeah, either way,
Yeah,
we
how
don't want
long
to be
have
out here
we-
at nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that in spite of this new information, we stick to our original idea and press on to the Baron's Keep and just try to warn them.
I agree.
There is... No, actually, that's all you would see about the area from where you are. Okay, so...
Perhaps we can ask someone about that.
So you're trying to go to the keep. So you make it to the road, and you enter the gates, toward the gates of the keep. Actually, this little artwork here from the book looks pretty close, because
Nice.
you've got the mountains off in the distance and forests, and there is this, like, you know, water area that kind of protects this keep, and you've got a bridge that goes across it, so it's very defensible. And so you come up to the keep.
And
Feel a little more
the
safe.
town proper is off to the left on the river there.
Is this the gatehouse or the keep itself we're looking at?
The gatehouse. And as soon as you approach it, a large number of guards appear and point crossbows and pikes at you. And
Quick question of background. I may have misunderstood. Is this the area where we have a reputation?
you've never been
Pardon?
here before, so
Okay.
it's one of those things
Got it.
where you are famed, but they are not. Like you're...
Well, in any case, we
Yeah.
would just be essentially just running in, waving our arms, not trying to be sneaky, and just being like, "There's orcs. There's an orc band. There's an orc war band. A mile to the northeast."
Indeed. I'll describe some of the things that you saw here, just in case this is information you could use, okay? You did have to cross a moat. You can see that this moat, this vast area, it's in around this hill, as I described before. It's filled, it may have actually been constructed, which is quite a grand construction from a long time ago, where the
It sounds like
hillside
this
is...
area saw very prosperous times.
Yeah, maybe sometime in the past. It's now filled in with runoff from rains and from melting snow from the nearby mountains and the emptied bedpans of its many inhabitants. You can see evidence, I would say especially Rex can see evidence that sometimes they still go down the keep's inhabitants and its many supports, the little village that has sprung up around, you know, the keep itself. People come down to the moat to fish. You pass a drawbridge, and that is set down on the far side of a long stone bridge, and the bridge is also fairly grand. It's made of stone. Past it, the drawbridge is open into the keep, but a portcullis is down. And guards approach you, and they're like, "Hold there, stranger. What's your business at night here?"
And yeah, we've essentially been approaching, waving and saying that we've spotted a war band of orcs.
I think we should first introduce ourselves as adventurers of the realm. I mean, we are...
As they
we
challenge
are-
us, yeah.
We are legit, right?
Mhm.
Do we need to show our dagger?
You were sent from Perrinval?
Yes.
The same.
What proof do you have of this?
Again, do we have our dagger? Is
Yeah,
that- is that something-
everybody. Yeah, and you can have this as a non-weighted item, a decorative ceremonial dagger that is
Yes.
a badge of
I'm
office.
definitely adding that dagger to, because I couldn't afford one when we started this journey.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention that before. Yeah, if you present the dagger, they look at it with some awe and concern on their face.
Nice.
Some of you can sense that there is a bit of worry that they have. And then one of them says, "Please wait here. We need to speak with our sergeant at arms, Sergeant Granvold, and the captain of the men, Sir Halfbert."
Very well, but please hurry.
Yes.
Yeah, we're on a clock here.
Yeah, so like 3 of them leave. You can see that there are murder holes nearby where crossbows. You can see lantern light from the murder holes. Crossbows trained on the entrance and stuff. It's manned. You can see lights at the top of the keep as well, where the top of the keep I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, the top of the keep's also manned. 3 of them
Parapet?
leave. Yeah, there are parapets, and then there's the thing in between the parapets.
Crenellations?
Crenellation, thank you. That's the word I was trying to think of. Nice.
And Mark,
You get a luck token for
Yay.
knowing what a crenellation is. So, anyways, 3 of them go, and it is now officially dark outside.
and we're still outside the gate.
And
Would
you are
say
outside
it's
the gate.
officially Shadowdark.
Oh. It is 7:30 p.m. It is dark outside, and the sergeant, the same person, comes back and he says, "Forgive me, my lords, but I'm afraid that." And you told them that there are orcs attacking, right? Or like there's orcs gathering.
Yeah, that was what we led with.
You led with that, right? We are taking this concern most seriously. And the lady of Lornedain has also been informed, and we're grateful, and she has expressed her own personal gratitude for your service to the barony and the kingdom. But we are now defending the keep. I'm afraid that we cannot allow you entrance at this time.
We're just glancing uncertainly between each other, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can we camp here along the wall with your protection over us? At least.
Screw that. These guys, they're up to something.
Well, sure.
No. Sorry, I didn't say that out loud.
What? Log just like scratches his head. Did you say something?
Do any of us know a language that most people wouldn't know, but we both know? Because I think we all know some kind of other language, but none of them line up. Like, I know Draconic. Durek knows Orcish.
I know Orcish, yeah.
I
That's
know
Orcish in common.
I'm gonna say I know Diabolic, Giant, Primordial, and Sylvan.
I know Primordial and Sylvan.
All right, and Jubal knows Draconic, so I could talk to him. But okay, so no. Anywho, we'll have to use
micro
innuendo.
conversations.
You could do like 2 groups. You can have one group speak one thing, and then it's passed over to Jubal that can speak. Yeah.
Did you say I'm going to address the sergeant? He came out, did he?
Yeah.
Sergeant, did you say the lady was present in the keep?
Yes.
Surely the good lady would not deny entrance to the keep to adventurers of the realm. I'm sure she knows what an insult that would be.
They look really uncomfortable at this and nervous, and they're like, well, yes, I certainly understand. And our lady, the Baroness Aora Lornedain, she gives you her thanks, but unfortunately, we simply cannot. We cannot allow anyone into the keep at this time, even someone. And he like shifts uncomfortably for a while, purporting to be adventurers of Perenval. There is.
Oh, that's a concern. I'm Rex Casmus. This is Durek. This is our esteemed friend Log. I remember where's his character.
Yep.
Sabert.
Yep. Saber. Yep. So,
And this is Sabert. You may have heard of us.
He says,
there's a
I am Sergeant Abdul. And
Hello.
he looks like he's kind of an older man, with graying features and white hair and white eyebrows, and his cuirass is like, and like he has a cuirass and then like a sash that kind of goes over that with presumably the colors of the House of Lornedain, and then like the probably house symbol, you know, up on his armor. And it's all like immaculate and clean and tidy and everything. And anyways, he shifts uncomfortably when you say that. He says, I'm Sergeant Abdul. These are my men. There has been strange happenings lately, and I am sure that Lady herself would like to explain those to you at a better hour and time. But I'm afraid we cannot even trust what seems right in front of us at our gates.
Can I smell BS here?
Well,
Do I smell it in the air? Like, does this person seem to be posing as a sergeant, but not even a man of the Baroness he claims to be?
yeah,
His commands are clearly being obeyed.
I think you could. So this is going to be difficult. I'll tell you what you can clearly notice, and then
Can I tell you my assumption first, and then
Sure.
you can just tell me if like that's like preposterous. My assumption is that this guy's some type of thug or like bandit leader,
taken
and these
over or
are his
something.
minions that they kind of taken over, and they're proposing that they are like, but ill fate has already fallen the Lady Baroness. That's kind of what my suggestion is.
yeah, no, he does seem legitimate. In fact, based on his like tidiness and his like, you know, this is someone who entered the service of a noble house young and has been in it their whole house, and he would die for it. And you can get the sense that this is someone who doesn't have the authority to say yes to you, and it makes him very uncomfortable because he knows what an adventure of Perrinval is, but he's been told not now.
What was the nature of the drawbridge? Was there like a gatehouse there, and if so, was it manned?
There was no gatehouse. This thing just kind of lowers in to give you access. And you're right here at the front where the portcullis is.
I'm going to throw out a wild idea. You guys can, agree or disagree. I think this guy's legit telling the truth.
Well, there's something going on with the noble.
There's some. Well, there. I think there might be something going on with adventurers of Perrinthal.
Oh.
I don't. I've got my issues with.
the first time.
Yeah. Right.
Only the first time.
So, I'm thinking maybe we back off. We group up and say, let me talk to my people for a second, and we back off a little bit and say like, okay, look, maybe the move here is to get to the town, leave these people. Maybe we can find out some more information if we go to the village itself, to gather some information as to what's going on around here, because I think he's legit, but I think they're legit scared maybe of us and of the situation that's going on. They could probably defend themselves okay from those orcs. They're buttoned up pretty tight, but the town might be in more peril.
I have one idea to try to draw them out a little bit, which is to suggest that they bring some guards out to defend the drawbridge. I mean, unless they're committed to only defending the curtain wall.
Right, I had a similar idea. Like, we could just ask that they send us a small escort group to the village, just for tonight, so we have some safety, and they could be our guide.
At least to man the drawbridge. I also think it's worth conveying to them that we found evidence that a dozen adventurers have, we think, been slain just trying to get here.
Yeah, they don't care about letting people in. They probably don't care about who's died outside of the gate. I like the idea of going to a town just because lips are probably looser there, and we can probably find out kind of what the hush-hush here is.
God, I wish I had a better concept of our odds against those orcs ourselves, but with 30 of them, I don't know. I'm not optimistic.
Yeah, we're not going to take out 30 orcs. I don't think so.
I mean, I for one believe in Durek and his capabilities, but I'm not quite as confident in my own. So no, I don't think 30 is in our favor.
I appreciate your support, Saber. Saber. Yes. Sorry.
Any, all of the above, all good.
You got to pick one.
Saber. I'm going with Saber. It looks like Sabort.
Yep, you're pronouncing it just right, Sabert. So Sabert, Sabert. Okay. Then Ernie pops up and he's like, "Okay, Bert."
T, but kind of a less emphasized T. If I were a linguist, I'd be able to say that in a satisfactory way. But anyway, Sabert.
I had a minor in linguistics.
Yeah, could you send that to us in phonetical linguistics for us?
So, all right. So,
so we told them, hey, there's orcs over there. They're already aware of that situation.
yeah, and let me further define kind of the space around you in case this is useful for the future. What this area here is called the main gate, which is lowered and allows you entrance, okay? And then beyond the main gate, this area is called a blockhouse. And it is like this, imagine one of those, gosh, now I'm not able to think of what the towers are called that you just said. The, gosh dang it. No, the thing that a crenellation connects to, which we just talked about.
Parapet?
Parapet, you get a luck token. But imagine a parapet, but it's like way bigger, you know. Anyways, the front part, and it's got these murder holes, and it's got about 3 floors. Blockhouse is what this part's called. And the blockhouse connects to the gate. And then they came out of the front gate of the blockhouse. Anyways, yeah, and you told them about the orcs. They said that the lady expresses her gratitude for this information. And then they were unable to entertain you or house you or meet with you this evening. And then they suggest that they can't simply figure out the truth, that there's a lot of like treachery going on. They can't simply allow someone in this emergency this evening. Is kind of what they hinted at.
I say we take them at it. I mean, I think we need to do something, which they're not going to let us in. We don't want to fight our way through these guys. I don't think they're our enemy.
I agree. Can we get some food, at least from them, who had a long journey, and even some food for the night, our journey back?
We could probably get that in town if we. I think if we went into town, and those people in town might actually really need our help versus these guys who could probably take care of themselves.
I also didn't want to give the impression that the town was on the near side of their fortifications. There is a town which I pointed on the map, like that's the actual town, and it's only like 3/4, like a mile away, right? So you can see it from where you are. But then, like, what I meant to say is you have one of these keeps with a wall, and inside of the wall you'll often have its own little courtyard. Yeah, courtyard with a blacksmith and a so on and so forth and things.
But that's not accessible to us, is
right?
That
that's beyond this blockhouse. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm talking about the town on the river.
Right. So someone else mentioned, like, well, let's just go back to the moat, the drawbridge. And I just wanted to note the town is not here. It's like a mile to the west on the river.
And we're burning daylight. Well, actually, it's nighttime now.
Yeah, there's no more daylight.
So, what do you all say? Let me pick on Chris here. Actually, who goes back to speak to the sergeant, and what do you say to them? To Sergeant
Log's got our best charisma, if that matters.
That's interesting.
You say Log? Log shudders at the idea, and he points a finger to Durek.
No, you're great at talking.
No.
You just need more confidence.
Rex, I think you're our man.
All right. Well, we're basically just wishing him the best and just leaving, right?
Okay. Well,
am I asking him for something specific or just being like?
I was
I
going
think
to try to ask for help in any way, anything they would offer, and then take that. Because I mean, if they're willing to offer anything, even a single man who knows the lay of the land better than we do, then if we are ambushed on our path, because we saw orcs over that way, but there's nothing to say that there aren't more orcs between us and the town. We didn't
All right.
happen to see.
I would only say this, Log, is that we being adventurers of the realm, I don't want to personally sully myself to ask them for any favors when they're clearly in a position of, shall we say, they're being pretty cagey.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I don't think they're going to give us like. I don't think they're going to give us an escort.
us anything.
I don't think that's going to happen. And
yeah,
just asking for something that they're clearly not going to give us will only weaken our appearance.
Okay, fine.
Thank you,
I'm
Rex.
just saying my feet hurt.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, they've clearly given us an insult here, but there's only so much we can do about it.
All right, so yeah, what do you say to the sergeant?
All right, I approach the man and say, very well, if your lady has made her decision, then we will abide by it. But this behavior is unusual. But these are your lands. I would at least implore you to act with all wisdom regarding this grave threat, which is, the last we saw, only about 1.25 miles away, perhaps closer by now.
What's your charisma modifier?
Not 0.
0. Okay.
I would like to give him a luck token in this roll.
Oh, I do this roll. However, I'm going to reveal it to you anyway, just because I think it's fun. Because he squints and he looks at you and he's like, "Wait a moment. Are you?
I do get a +1 if he does recognize me.
Are you? I didn't get your full name. Are you Rex Casmus?"
Yes. Perhaps I was speaking too quickly earlier. A pleasure to meet you, sir.
I'm sorry, my lord. Why, you invigorated the temples of the region. Our priest in the city or in the village would be so happy to speak with you. Could you just wait one more moment, please?
Very well, but you must move quickly.
And you guys don't roll this. I roll a reaction roll in which you got an 11 out of 12.
Oh, nice.
And yeah. I won't
And
show
I would
that
use
again,
this
but
as an
that's-
opportunity to reintroduce Sabert, who was also part of that adventure.
Right, yeah.
He leaves and comes back, and he says, forgive me, I missed. I didn't realize that Rex Casmus and Sabert were here. And we would like, the lady has provided her own carriage, and if what you say comes to pass, we will need to guard the city anyways, and we'll need to garrison some mounted troops that could disperse this horde. So, if it is well with you, we would like to provide you an escort to the city, a ride in Her Grace's personal carriage.
Very well. That would be very gracious of you.
Right. This takes some time because they
Rex
have to
coming through in a clutch.
So it is now 8:30 p.m. in the evening. Many people will have, at this time, since candlelight is so prohibitively expensive and there is nothing else that can be done, and these are dangerous times, they'll have long since gone to sleep in the dark. However, they eventually hitch up the carriage, and they
Beats walking.
They lead you along the road. Now, this only takes like maybe 20 minutes. But is there anything as you travel along in the carriage, under the guard of these dragoons, these mounted guards, that you would want to do?
Let's discuss while we're in the carriage. Can we discuss it like openly amongst ourselves without being overheard by?
There's a chance
by the
that you could be heard by the driver of the carriage, but you could also, do it subtly and whisper, and then probably not.
Most of this stuff doesn't need to be secret. We'd just be discussing things like the the blood trail that we found, what we think that was about.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we could talk to some of these dragoons, honestly. Perhaps that they'd know something, but they probably don't. So,
At least if they have any business in the trees we saw cut down. If they know if they were like used by plans from the Baroness to construct something, or if they have news of or rumors of what happened to the woodsmen's.
Yes, yeah, it's a good idea. Start maybe whoever's got the highest charisma. Maybe start by complimenting the driver on the fine state of his carriage. Clearly, he's good at his job.
Nice.
I think Log is not great at that. I mean, I do have a good charisma. I have a +1, but I imagine like he literally points over at the cut trees and these field of stumps, and says, "Well, do you have a nice view?" Talking to the driver.
The driver is like in a fancy kind of royal kind of garb. It's sort of garish and over the top, but it is her job as a carriage driver. And she's a little halfling named Isabel. She's a middle-aged halfling with like cropped hair that falls either side of her big elfin almost ears that jut out to either side. And she smiles out of half of her mouth, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much, my lords. Adventures of Perrinval, wow. I never thought I would meet one."
We get that a lot.
we're just here to help.
You get like token for that. Yes, I certainly hope that you can help our people here.
Well, ma'am, we will certainly do what we can.
And
We've
would you
come all this way to bake cookies.
Would you happen to know much about those woodsmen just to the northwest of the keep?
Oh, yes. It is part of the trade here. It helps keep the river trade, the boat repairs. We have foresters that serve her grace. Master Bayard leads them, of course. It's tragic. Master Bayard and his people, they also lost people. I'm sure that it must feel incredibly unsafe and dangerous to be a forester in these days.
How long has this been going on?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to step on.
Talk to us.
Probably these disappearances began 3-4 months ago. It started here and there, one or two. There was sometimes bandit activity. There is the war going on after all, so we have thought ourselves lucky. What with the great battle with King Ardrith far to the north and the land strike south of the city, and so we thought maybe we would be spared from the war this time. But there are bandits, there are people that would travel up and down the river, and then there are, of course, those outsiders that came from those new cities a year ago, the river folk. And now they live alongside the river. So, I don't know, perhaps there are strange folk about in the past year. Maybe it's just that those people don't like each other. I don't know, but I can tell you that foresters have gone missing, and I'm sure that what's his name? I'm sure Master Bayard is terribly concerned about it and could use some help.
Where would we find Master Bayard?
In the daytime, when they leave, they usually stay in the walls of the keep now, and then they begin the journey with their wagons and mules into the forest, about 1.5 miles to the north.
that would be the logging site we saw.
Would be.
While we're riding along in the distance, do we see like any I don't know, torches, fire, war drums, etc., that indicate the orcs have made it to the keep?
Yeah, great question. Because again, just to emphasize, the map looks large. It's only about 2 miles across. So in a fall autumn night, you would hear war drums and yelling and stuff off in the distance echoing. And no, you hear nothing of the sort. And by now, it is dark. So let's make it dark.
Well, someone's pretty sure about what they saw, right?
And let's give you some light, because you will be...
Like a warband isn't really something you mistake for something else. Maybe.
Of course, it did say they were building something, not necessarily on the move. So it could be that maybe the orcs are building their own fortifications against some unknown threat.
Could be. Or perhaps something to ford the moat with.
Either is a...
I really just don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
On that note, I noticed that Jubal's character sheet says that they speak Avion.
Yep.
So I don't know if that means they understand the tweet, tweet, tweet.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But Lug can already talk to them, so that's fine. What else? What else do we ask? Do you know if the foresters made it back tonight? Are they in the keep now?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's fortunate.
Oh, indeed. I don't think anyone other than the farmers, and of course, we do have even night patrols that help watch, but I think it wise that the kingdom sent this word to help us from you, and that mounted patrols can come at night if needed. There was a rumor that there's something happening to the north. Did you come by that way?
We did, and we had a great deal of difficulty even making it here intact. We saw evidence of other adventurers that had been sent failing to arrive here.
What rumors? Sorry.
You first.
I thought. What rumors did you hear?
I heard that there were orcs, feral tribes gathering somewhere in the woodline, only a mile to the north.
Well, I can assure you that is true.
She just looks like, like she keeps driving. Now, we're about to run out of time. As much as all these people are becoming named characters as you discover them, by the way. So this is Isabel. Let me make sure I have her. Isabel.
Nice to encounter a normal-sized person.
Nice. So you get to the village, and I'll describe what you see here real quick like. Although you wouldn't hear these things because it's deep at night now. So let's do this, and let's make it real dark. And you have a flickering light of... Okay. Okay, let me see here. So, you come up to a walled, a wooden palisade. And, you can see, well, probably only see this wooden palisade. It is manned by guards and a large group of villagers. Even though it's night, you can see you can hear a rumbling, a commotion, and 10 of them, as they hear this, like they come out to the gates. Some of them just with pitchforks, some with old spears. These are not trained guards of the barony. And they and one of the guards, who is wearing a tabard of the House of Lornedain, and says, you know, you see him talking to the sergeant and stuff, and something has worked out. There's an argument that happens between them. This is like 20 feet ahead of you, okay? And you're in the carriage. And then eventually the 10 people disperse, and they wave through this carriage. So, and you can see in here, in this village, that there are probably a dozen buildings. And they take you to one of the largest buildings in town. And they open the carriage, and the sergeant bows. This is Sergeant Abdul. Sergeant Abdul bows, and he motions, and he says, "My lords, welcome to the village of Lornedain. This is the War Mallard Inn. They would be able to provision you and provide a place to rest until the lady is prepared to summon you. I have every confidence that she will do so as soon as possible."
We graciously look forward to her reception.
He bows. They all... Oh, go ahead.
I just want to look out at the crowd. Does it look like these villagers are mad that we're here? Or like upset that we're here or intruding?
Most seem asleep. However, the crowd that dispersed, it initially looked like they were angry, but then when they saw that you were like officially coming in here, they do not look mad at all.
Okay.
Maybe more like relieved.
Okay.
And yeah, they load up the carriage and they leave you here to your own devices. Adventurers of Perrinval are part agent of the government, but also part independent mercenary. So they expect you to pay your own way, but also
Let's get us a room, boys.
Earn your own riches. And the tavern does have patrons. There are people here this evening. I'll quickly describe that. The sign over the door of this 3-story establishment features an ornamental kite-shaped wooden shield carved with a black duck with a green head and orange bill, who's dressed in full plate and wields a broadsword. It is the War Mallard Inn, and inside, it's cozy, if just a bit tight in here. It's strangely like stacked up in 3 stories, very narrowly. There are half a dozen tables for 6 and 6 stools at the bar. At the bar is a bald, middle-aged man with thick fingers and a grizzled jaw. And he looks like he's seen a thing or two. And a battle-worn halberd hangs over the bar behind him. And that's where we'll end the adventure for the night. Mythic Mountains RPG is a private RPG play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Those of us who play folk RPGs are not beholden to rules masters from either big corporations, voices on the internet, nor anything beyond what we agree together is best for our game and our table. We delight in supporting independent game designers. Shadowdark RPG is by Arcane Library. The City of Brass is by Frog God Games. Music is by Miguel Johnson, Tabletop Audio, Michael Gelfie Studios, Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech, and Brunaville. Details for the music, RPGs, and adventure module are listed in the description. We hope you enjoyed our adventure, and we hope you'll join us next time in the Vale.